And he scores!
Welcome to Gloves Off 2.0. That's the title for now. Chad Seward joined with
Morgan Bell.
Morgan Bell. You've seen her at games doing interviews, maybe skating around the rink, maybe at the front desk, maybe in the stands. But now you're going to hear more from Morgan, more than just two questions, including one that's completely ridiculous thrown at me just to give some fodder for the broadcast. But welcome, Morgan. We're podcasting.
Yeah, exciting.
Very exciting.
Something new for me too.
So this is the point in the show every week where we will mention a sponsor, which we don't have yet. So if someone has a sponsor idea, whether it's a product, wheels-off product, I mean, it could be something as crazy as the Golden Girls Chia Pet, or maybe you've got a Chia Pets.
Yeah.
Or maybe you have a store or a charity or something. Hit us with ideas. You can comment on the YouTube page where this is going to be posted, or on the Facebook page. I'm too old for Instagram, but I think that maybe we'll put it on Instagram too. Who knows? I don't know how Instagram works.
I'm learning.
I'm an old man.
I'm getting better at it, but
I'm wearing
Facebook's an easy
yeah.
easy
Facebook.
way to do it.
I think that's it's like Switzerland. It's
Yeah.
like super easy. All right, so Morgan, we got a little bit of help from our friends out in New Mexico as they beat Corpus Christi Ice Rays the other day, which officially granted us the South Division regular season title again, second year in a row for that. That's pretty exciting.
But yeah, very exciting, especially with how this last 2 months have gone.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So Corpus is, if we look at the playoff picture, that's what we're going to do first here. But as we continue on with the podcast in the future, we'll let the fans sort of dictate what the run sheet is, if you will. So we've played 55 games. We've got 84 points currently. We can get to 92 points total if we win out. Corpus is at 53 games played. They have 71 points. They could get to a max of 83. Since we're already 84, there's the math for anyone who's wondering how that's calculated. It's funny, I can understand this math, but you give me an algebra problem, and it's going to be a week before I break my pencil in half and get mad. So these two teams, well, we've got home ice for sure. Corpus, I think, still has to do a little bit of work to guarantee theirs. Shreveport's played 55 games. They've got 69 points. They can max out at 77. So Corpus would need to get, theoretically, 7 more points, and then they completely lock up the second spot, which is important because you get the first round bye.
Yep.
You follow that whole bye system?
Yes, yeah. I've learned a lot more about hockey this year than I thought I would ever know.
Yeah.
Thanks to my new job position and Logan.
You gotta be in the know, and so Shreveport's sitting in that third spot, and then New Mexico's played 54 games. They've got 62 points. They could max out at 72 points. They're in the fourth spot, just barely ahead of El Paso, who's played 53 with 57 points. They could max out at 69 points. And then in sixth, Colorado's played 51 games. They have 50 points, and they could max out at 66 points. So they're on the bubble. So top 6 teams make the playoffs in the NAHL South. The 3 on the outside looking in right now are Odessa, who's played 52 games with 48 points. They could max out at 62, so they could get into the 6th spot. That's a real fight there. And then as Morgan can confirm, this is, it's not video, but I've got little skulls and crossbones next to Amarillo and Oklahoma, because Amarillo's played 51 games. They've got 42 points. They could max out at 58. And then, so they technically could still get in there. Oklahoma's played 53. They've got 40 points, which they could max out at 52. We don't even need the light, But Oklahoma, they play us this weekend, which we'll talk about. So that's going to be a tough road. It is at home at the Outpost Ice Arena. Not Outpost Ice Arena. Hang on a minute. At the Blazers Ice Center. This weekend, Morgan, we've got Corpus Christi is in Odessa. And Odessa's, of course, fighting for, we just talked about it, they're fighting for a spot. Yep. We are in Oklahoma. New Mexico is in El Paso. And Amarillo is playing Colorado. So it's not quite done yet. There should be a little bit of moving. We know that we're going to stay number one, which means we're not playing April 11th or 12th, which means my purchasing a plane ticket to Georgia to go to the Masters means I'm not missing any hockey. I have gambled correctly. I'm excited about that. And we will play April 18th and 19th here at home for games 1 and 2 of the South Division semifinal. The third place team, which currently is Shreveport, will play the sixth place team in a best of 3 at the home of the third place team. So it would be Shreveport versus, if it ended today, Shreveport versus Colorado in Shreveport, best of 3. And then New Mexico would play El Paso at the Outpost Ice Arena in Albuquerque for a best of 3. And then the winners of those series would then go on to play. We'll take the lowest seed, and then that'll be the Final Four. So a lot going on this weekend, though. Big coaching news. You ready for this?
Yeah.
I think you already know, but he's been in the super secret timeout for quite some time. But the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. 725 games won and counting. Actually, I think Dan's got like closer to 750 by now. 740, 730. Anyway, Dan Walfong returns to the bench on Saturday, which is good timing because Logan Murphy will be sitting out in his super secret timeout. So if you recall back on that melee, I think that was March 1st with Corpus, where we had the 7 trillion penalty minute free-for-all during that game. Dan got a hefty suspension, and Logan got a hefty suspension. And what you don't know, fans, or even Morgan probably, is there was a very healthy discussion right here in this room of who the hell is going to coach the team?
Yeah.
Because even Frank was like, well, I guess I can, for one game, I can do it. We were looking at all the junior Brahma coaches, who could we get to come in and coach this? But luckily the league says Logan can serve his suspension after Dan. So
we did have some coaches play a big part and step up and help.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
too, so.
Chad Bailey and Harrison
Yeah.
Feeney, Jordan Pressure Schmirid, which I'm glad that's the last name I don't have to call on the broadcast. JPS, we call him. He's been around here. He's a fixture around here. Good dude. Him and Frankie, his dog.
Yep, got a Frankie.
they're a fixture.
We'll trot into the ice rink.
Absolutely. He's a good Minnesota boy. And, we had a lot of people help out during this long break. So, it's been tough on Dan, but I think this would be something we could talk to him about in the future, Morgan. But I know that he's told me that he's seen the game from different eyes up there in the press box and watching from a suite, watching from the stands, not able to go to the locker room, which I know that for him that's like telling Taylor Swift you can't go on stage. You got to sing from backstage or something. But that's the situation with coaching. We are all back to full strength as far as suspensions served with all the players. There's still a few on the injury report, but we play Oklahoma this weekend. Then we play nobody. We have our last bye week of the regular season, the last weekend of March. So what happened last year around this time, the coaches let the players, those that could, obviously Ray Murakami couldn't just hop on a Southwest Airlines to Tomokamai, Japan, but the players who can will go home, get some rest. to be ready for. Geez, it's been since
It's a long season, yeah.
August 20th, I think they reported, maybe even before that. So
Yeah.
it's a
I do
long.
know some are going home this year too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a good break. And then April 4th and 5th,
the last two home games.
last two home games. We'll talk about those in a minute because I want to tease some good stuff. I also want to keep it. Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good, Morgan. So I saw some discussion about attendance tied to last weekend's games as we were in Amarillo, and I guess they had announced 1,300, and it didn't look like 1,300 people were in the stands.
It really didn't.
And I know a lot of people were almost arguing with each other over it. So from a front office perspective, to let everybody know how it works, there's three ways that you can calculate attendance. One is by what's called the drop count, which is how many tickets are actually scanned or torn. This is what we had to do in the Fort Worth Convention Center days of the Brahmas because the city collected a fee for every ticket that was actually torn.
Right.
We don't do that at NITEX because there's so many season ticket holders that by week 2 the ushers know them, and I highly doubt they're even scanning their ticket. Like we know Fred and Janet Walters have season tickets, so just come on in, right? So the drop count's one way. I don't think Amarillo does that. The other way that you can track attendance is by tickets issued, which that's how we do it. So if we announce a sellout, that means we sold out of all of our tickets, but not necessarily every seat's full.
Exactly.
Because
things come up.
I'll reference Fred and Janet. They could be on a cruise.
Yeah.
Right? Who knows? Corporate sponsors, we have a lot of corporate sponsors that may not come to every game, or they may only come up. Like Acting Brick has 4 season tickets. They may have just 2 people here from a game. They may have all 4. You never know. But tickets issued is most likely what Amarillo does. I know that's a healthy community up there. It's almost 300,000 people now live in Amarillo.
Yeah.
You been to Amarillo?
Yeah, I played there with Disney.
Yeah.
But and depending on arena size too, like it can get spread out too, so it will look less than it.
It does look less.
Yeah.
And I was going to say the third way that you could track attendance is what I call totally fabricating it, making it up, creating a number just for the sake of creating a number. I know there's teams out there that do this. We're not one of them, thankfully, but I did notice that I couldn't find on the league website where attendance is tracked anymore. I don't think we're keeping track of that. We have to report it, and the way it's reported is the off-ice officials. It's on there's a computer program they use in each game that tracks the goals. It's basically so when you follow along, if you follow along on the website or NAHL.com or the app, those are the people that are putting it in. I happen to think our off-ice officials are the best. They actually care. I've seen others that clearly didn't, but ours, they get here super early, a couple hours before a game. They do a really good job of tracking stats, and they get really angry if they don't have enough numbers, whether it's sickness or whatever. Like they really care. So that's why we don't track, or at least I couldn't find the attendance on the website. But this is my prediction of who has the most in the league. I think Shreveport has most, probably. Their barn is consistently full.
Yeah.
You been to a game there yet?
No, I would love to go, but I haven't been yet.
It's a wild place.
Yeah, I've been told they're pretty awesome games.
Corpus is probably number 2, and they might be number 1. They do have a couple games where they pull in like 6,000 people. That's the biggest barn in the division for sure.
That's the green one, right?
It's the American Bank Center right there on the beach.
Green on the inside.
Yep. Then we're going to be 3rd with El Paso right behind us in 4th. I'd put Amarillo probably in that 5th spot, and then Colorado, New Mexico, Oklahoma. They're limited by how much capacity they have, but New Mexico, there's never an empty seat there. They only have 1,000 seats, but there's never any of them empty. And then Odessa's last. I don't know what to say about Odessa. It's I've seen that building full. I've played basketball in there in front of a full crowd. It's amazing. There's a Long John Silver's out front, but There's a lot of empty seats, and it is a big room. So that's the downside of playing in a big room. But I think the NYTEX size is just this right sweet spot.
Yeah, and it always looks good, and it's full. And we do also have a pretty loyal fan base too, and
pretty loyal, yes.
Hometown being right here, I just watch people walk to the games all the time. So.
I joke if we were ever able to play a hockey game on the moon, some of our fans they'd find a way to get up there.
For sure.
they definitely would. It's always been that way. Even when we were, good Lord, I can't talk. When we were in the Central Hockey League, we had fans. When we played Rapid City, South Dakota, they drove up there. Brampton, Ontario, even they drove to. So we got the best fans. But the next time we'll see those fans, Morgan, 4-4, the Police Foundation night.
Yep.
I guess that's what we're calling it. The jerseys, you've seen the jerseys.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, they actually look pretty cool.
They look cool. We'll sell those in the store on Sunday after the game, which you can let us know if you like this system versus the auction or not. I think it keeps the prices down versus an auction, keeps feelings from getting hurt. Sometimes people get a little fired up when they're going for the same. You have two people competing for a Ryan Commonshock jersey. Sometimes it gets a little tense. But we'll sell those in the store starting at 5 o'clock on April 5th. On April 4th in the lobby, you're going to see a very large silent auction set up. And all the proceeds from the silent auction are going to the North Richland Hills Police Foundation. All the proceeds from the jersey sales, every stinking dollar is going to the Police Foundation. All the proceeds from the hoodie sales that matches the jersey that's in the store. You can come buy one of those right now. All the proceeds from those will go to the Police Foundation. Frank's goal is $10,000 to raise for the Police Foundation. My goal is $20,000. So we'll see. Make me correct.
Yeah.
Actually, if you make me correct, you make both of us correct.
Yeah.
The last time we did anything police-driven was unfortunate circumstances when we were raising money for Mitchell Penny.
I remember that, yeah.
And we raised over $20,000 for his family. The Police Foundation, if you wonder what that goes to, that's for members of the North Richland Hills Police and their families. God forbid somebody gets, something happens in the line of duty and they need help, whether it's medical, bills, whatever, the foundation can kick in, or it may not even be something so life-threatening, such as somebody just needs whatever, AC went out and they need help there. Yep. So.
And I've actually already seen those sweatshirts in the games too, and they look pretty cool.
They do look cool.
Seems sporadically in the stands, which is pretty awesome already.
So that's Frank Trezera, his design, working with K1, the official jersey supplier of the league. And Frank serves on the board of the Police Foundation. So it's a personal thing for him, and I want to help out our guys. Our guys here, the North Richland Hills Police, they do a good job. So some of the jerseys, I'll tell you, we've got the last remaining Navy jersey, not Navy colored, Team Navy. Remember from this year, we got one of those that'll be on the silent auction. We've got the last Brahma to be drafted in the NHL, Mitchell Gibson. We got assigned one of his jerseys.
Okay.
Several other game worns, team signed stuff. I'm gonna lean on Frank to maybe we do some Dallas Stars tickets.
Oh yeah.
Because I hear they're doing real well this year.
Yep.
That's what I hear. I know they'll make the playoffs. I think they're like number 1, aren't they?
Yeah. All right. Logan's really happy about that too. So.
There's still hope for
Stars fan.
Ottawa and Dallas to meet in the finals. There's still hope for me. My dream could come to reality. It could. Theoretically, it could. Okay, we also mentioned in our post that we would talk about some off-season plans for the arena, Morgan. Mm-hmm. Have you seen the new chairs in the? I
haven't yet.
You haven't? Okay.
No, I haven't.
They're in the box office. What we're talking about is we're going to rip out, I think, rows 9, 10, and 11 on section along the sides, right? Along the sides of the arena. The story, if you were coming to this arena when it was Blue Line and the Texas Tornado played here in the late 90s, there were only 8 rows of seats on either side
really?
of the building. Yeah, and these little plateaus were just
Yeah.
kind of like standing platforms. When Frank and Sal bought the place and the Brahmas moved here, the Central Hockey League at the time said, this is not going to work. You need to
Yeah.
put more seats in here. So we jammed. We went from like 1,500 to 2,500.
Yeah.
And there were seats in places that did not need to be.
Squished in there.
Yeah, they were squished. Like we had bleacher seating in what's now the party deck, and there was I think 64 seats up there.
Okay.
So just think about
Yeah,
like
that's
how
tight. Yeah.
crammed in that
That's
was.
pretty tight.
So what we're talking about doing is getting rid of those bleacher sections at the top of each section
Okay.
and bringing in more like, gosh, I don't know how to say this other than like floor seating you would see at an NBA game.
Okay.
And I know that probably falls on deaf ears because I doubt a lot of our fans are going to a lot of NBA games. But nice cushioned
Yeah.
seats. They're a little elevated. They have Brahmas hockey written on it somewhere, have a logo on there. They'll look pro. They'll feel more comfortable, and they'll be able to allow us to give the fan a little bit better view.
Right.
So we're going to do that around like RS and T area, which right now has just got bleachers that get moved
Right.
in.
Right.
And then at the tops, if you're curious about what they look like, we've got a couple samples in the box office. Maybe not when it's a rush before a game and there's a lot of ticket sales
Yeah.
going on, but maybe during an
I'm gonna
intermission.
go check out these chairs.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're cozy.
Yeah.
I like them. We are not going to get the armrests. That was
What a cushion. You get a cushion.
you do get a cushion, and it is nice. I'm a big man, and it's nice. So that's going to be one thing I keep hearing people say, "When are you getting a video board? When are you getting a video board?" I don't know why I did a dumb voice, but
That's actually a pretty common question.
it is, and we're waiting on the prices to come down because I mean we were quoted last year some really ridiculous numbers. One of them was like over $600K for basically a big
Yeah.
TV, and it just like you don't want to spend a bunch of money and then underwhelm people. You watch The
Yeah.
Office? You watch The
Yes,
Office?
I watch The Office.
Okay. Remember the episode with Michael Scott when he brings everybody over to his apartment and shows off
Yeah,
his flat screen
his
TV?
plasma TV. Yeah, and he pulls it off the wall.
And it's like 10 inches.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want our fans to be like, that's your video board?
Yeah.
So we're waiting for the pricing and everything to come down to just a more reasonable level. Like we'd love to replace the center scoreboard with a 4-sided video thing, but that's like insanely expensive right now. And, you know, technology improves, prices are coming down. So hopefully soon.
Even the TVs that were added in the suites have been utilized like no other too.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching the replays on them. And,
I do like that feature.
yeah.
So if you come to a game, except the last home game, we had an issue where there was a short, but it's been resolved. What I see live on my computer broadcasting, the fans in suites see as well.
Mhm.
So we share
Yeah.
that view. And it's whatever people are seeing at home too. It's just a little bit delayed when you get it at home. But so it's live, so replays. So when we had a line brawl and a gong show of penalties, we could run that back a few times and look at things, especially as it took the referee Baker, it took him about
Quite a
two
while.
2 hours to
Yeah.
sort out.
Quite a while.
I think he ran out of ink in his pen and he had to run to the locker room
Probably
and go back and
paper too.
my goodness. So yeah, that's been a really cool feature, and maybe we'll add some more TVs. We've talked about it, like in concessions when you're waiting in line.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
line can get long. And other places, we are also this summer going to take the ice out in the main rink again. So we'll be redoing the under ice logos, doing some work on the dash. It's just stuff that
Yeah.
fans don't see, but
Yeah.
it's expensive.
Yeah.
We still have
And
to
it
do
does happen every year.
Yeah, Glenn and Coco, those are the two that on our operations staff that really hate the summers.
Yeah.
because
They do a good job though.
They do a great job.
Everything is done and it looks nice and
It's thankless at times, but
Yeah.
they do a good job. So yeah, other ideas. We got sound. We worked that out last year. we've talked about adding in some more lighting. I know that probably going to do that. It always looks dark in there, even though we've significantly.
We did add lighting this year too. So,
we added a lot. And we also talked about adding in some sort of intelligent light feature.
Oh, yeah.
So when you do your interview, for example, we could have a spotlight on you. And I think that would look cool. And when we score a goal, we want some sort of something to happen, and we want to,
flares.
Something, flares, explosions, any of that would be cool. And that's really okay. So that's it. We want to be super short and just get it going. We want it to be fan driven. We want the fans to pick the topics and the guests. We want to have polls where you can vote on what you think the next guest would be. Players, coaches, staff. We got some interesting staff.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about it.
Cool people though.
Cool people. We got. If look, we could bring Glenn here if you want to talk about how to disassemble a Zamboni. We got a Zamboni for sale too. By the way.
Did? I didn't know that.
The white one that sits up back.
Yeah.
If anybody wants a Zamboni for like a project, hit me up, chad.brahmas@gmail.com. This thing may be cheaper than you think. I don't think they're street legal. I don't think you can drive around. They're not very fast, so it's not a very practical vehicle. And all the batteries have been removed. So, but it's got a really killer chassis. It's a Zamboni, unique thing. And we're hoping somebody wants to buy it to do something with it, because my idea is to fill it full of explosives and blow it up out at my ranch for a video.
Kind of like an office space where
Absolutely.
They go after the computer
Absolutely.
or the printer, whatever it is.
I want to fill that thing up with thousands of pounds of tannerite and blow it to Kingdom Come. I think that would be a really cool video. But yeah, so we'll post this. Give us your comments, what you think as far as who you want to see on the show. You've interviewed players. Who do you think would be a good one? Who do we want to get more out of?
I would like to. I think it would be fun to see Owen Kerr.
Okay.
Or one of the new guys like Tulacro.
Okay.
Maddox,
Yeah.
Or, we talked about Chucky Masek earlier. He'd be.
Tulacro. That interview would devolve into nothing but golf talk between me and him, which is fine.
We got some cool guys on the team though. So.
I think anybody that wears the Brahma logo is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So we'll get it going here. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want. We want to please the fans. And April 18th and 19th, get those tickets going. We don't know who we're playing, but it doesn't matter. You want to see the Brahmas in the postseason. Mm-hmm. And we know that there's only a possibility of 6 more home games after the 5th.
Fourth and 5th.
Yep, because that's the semifinals and finals are best of 5. So we have home ice for both, no matter what. So if they were to go the distance, both of them, that would be 6 games. So the season, hard to believe it's come down.
Yeah,
winding down.
It was a long season, but it feels like it's flown by too. So
I know. Well, and I'm gearing up for the postseason, ready. I'm gonna go on the road for the road games, except for one. There's one market I may not go to, but we'll wait and see. I'm not going to mention it, and we'll see if it happens. Then I'll come face to face with it, but we'll see. Until then, Morgan, you got anything else?
No, I'm excited about the podcast. I think it's going to be cool for everybody. So
we're excited. You can just tell right there. All right, well, we'll be back next week with whatever you want, which is hopefully something cool. Until then,